Achilles works very well with a bruiser build since his passive provides a lot of tankiness for the late game. Items like Void Shield, Shifters, Ansile, and Glad Shield fit perfectly, especially when in your tank stance. Achilles' damage shoots through the roof once you've mastered his quick auto cancels. Make sure to confirm that someone is in execute range by hitting one last auto or ability before going into execute. Watch out for cripples and interrupts since Achilles relies on his 2 dashes to be slippery and his long animations. Max your 3, then your 1, then your 2, and only put extra points into your ult after maxing your first 3 abilities. Leave it at rank 1 until level 16. Agni is only good as a full damage mage and has a very unique ultimate on a base 20-second cooldown. Because of this, Agni works really well with items like Spear of Deso, Soul Gem, and Chronos Pendant. Not all mages rely on CDR, but Agni is an exception. Agni's 2 isn't very reliable since it doesn't go very far, therefore the CDR allows you to use bombs, your ultimate, to farm throughout the game and be consistent in the team fights with your damage. Agni actually auto-cancels decently well, and it's helpful for building your passive through each stage of the game. Make sure to master the ult into stun combo, 2 into stun combo, instead of placing your 1 before these abilities, allowing them to juke it. Watch out for high CC comps, especially cripples, as Agni has no CC immunity in his abilities and relies on beads and his dash to be very safe. Max your 2, then your 3, and then your 1, and put points into your ultimate whenever possible. Muzen Cab is a very greedy character with a high payoff. AMC has no escape, so his best playstyle and build is full damage, usually shredding the tanks that are diving him. Kin Size, Oboe, and Pen are usually his best items, especially since his hives give such big stims in attack speed and movement speed. Make sure to create a hive network to your lane and in your lane for all the extra benefits, including the healing. Place your hives in cheeky spots over walls and away from your opponent so they aren't easily destroyed. AMC's passive is great for poke, and remember that you either have to be in range of a hive to make your honey do damage, or you have to proc it with your 2. Your ult is great for bursting and securing kills, but also use it early on in a fight to lock down the opponent you are trying to shred. Max your 2, then your 1, and then your 3, and put points into your ultimate whenever possible. However, I will say that you can max any ability on this character and it should be fine. Puch is another character that's going to die eventually in the fight since he is very all-in. This means that you should build him mostly Glass Cannon, and since he has 4 abilities that do damage, items like Soul Reaver, Soul Gem, and CDR or Pen options work great for him. Puch has lots of anti-heal, so picking him against healers, especially combined with the Divine Ruin, is his best use. You can cancel his 1 early, and with enough CDR, picking up his 1 and his 3's corpses is a great sustain option between fights or even during the laning phase. Puch is usually straightforward. Cast your 1, then your 3, then explode all of these corpses with your 2 for huge burst damage. You live and you die by this combo. Max your 2, then your 3, and then your 1, and put points into your ult whenever possible. Amaterasu is a hybrid warrior, a combination of an auto attack and ability based warrior. Her builds usually contain some auto attack focused items like Ninja Tabi, Talisman of Energy, or Shoguns, then Frostbound and Void Shield to pack a punch. She can also work with pure damage in the jungle with items like Stone Cutting and Executioner. Make sure to use her passive whenever possible, especially when clearing throughout the game. Auto a minion 3 times to gain her increased damage aura. Spam your 1 for sustain always, but try to be in your power stance when you're going to fight or auto trade with someone. Don't be afraid to fight during the charge up of your 2, since it makes you much tankier than without it. Don't fire out your 2 until it's fully charged because it significantly increases the damage. Make sure to click 2 before you ult because your ult damage will charge up your 2, give you damage mitigation while you're ulting, and you can click 2 again during your ult to fire your mirror damage. Max 2, then your 1, then your 3, and put points into your ult whenever you can. Anhur works best with full damage and attack speed since he doesn't have an attack speed steroid in his kit. Xe works very well with his passive, and he can either go a crit route or a kin size route with his builds. Anhur is a pretty safe character because he has an escape, a zoning pillar which will slow his enemies, and a long duration CC immune ult which has a short cooldown. Make sure to auto people at least once before going into your ult or before using your 2, since your passive will lower their protections, making you do much more damage with these abilities. Don't be afraid to ult waves or camps with Anhur since his ult is 15 seconds shorter than most others in the game. Use your jump knockup to set up your impale into walls, and remember that this character works much better the closer you are to geometry around the map. Max your 2, then your 1, and then your 3, and put points into your ult whenever you can. Anubis' passive works very well with lifesteal, and it fits his all or nothing playstyle in fights. Bancrofts, Typhons, Magus, and percent pen items work amazing on him and allow Anubis to one-shot anyone on the map, including tanks if given enough setup. Practice throwing out your 3 before using your wrap to slow them and guarantee a little more damage. This character is great at shredding everything, including objectives, so don't be afraid to ult a Gold Fury or Fire Giant to finish it off. Utilize your lifesteal as sustain between fights or even during them, but watch out for anti-heal as this can destroy you in the team fights. Max your 3 first, put points in your ult whenever possible, but one thing people get wrong is they max their 1 after their 3. It's better to max your 2, your wrap, since it increases the stun duration and lowers the cooldown, and you rely on this ability to kill basically anyone. Look out for anti-heal characters and upgraded thorns as Anubis. Kuang is one of the very few magical assassins in Smite. He works well in the jungle mostly with a glass cannon build, either full mage or auto attack. Staple items like Telekines, Bancrofts, Demonic, and Rod of Tahiti really get the most out of his kit. His 3 is on a short cooldown, which is great for clearing around the map and is why you max it first. Most of his burst damage comes from actually hitting your autos during your 2, so try not to recast this ability and throw it out unless your enemies are getting away. Beads, Aegis, and CC immune abilities counter your ult, so try to bait them out before clicking 4. Tanks are usually the easiest to execute since they normally don't have beads. Your 1 is a very quick escape, but watch out for dots like Bluestone or Mannequins, which will remove your invis instantly. Don't be afraid to use your 1 for damage as well, especially when full committing to a fight. Max your 3, then your 2, then your 1, and only put extra points into your ultimate after the first 3 abilities are maxed, which is level 16. Aphrodite is a healer, but also a very good damage dealer. CDR items like Chronos Pendant and Spear of Deso not only give her more utility for spamming her ult and her heals, but more burst damage in fights, especially when linked to a teammate. Rod of Tahiti is her best item since it not only increases her burst damage, but also increases her healing when her linked teammates are below 50% health. Link your teammate, either your support or jungler, and use your 2 right when they blink on someone for lots of burst. Aphro's kit is very reliant on being linked to her teammates, so try to always be roaming around with at least someone. Early game, your ult is better to remove CC and cleansing. Late game, the damage immunity can single-handedly win a teamfight, especially if you allow a damage dealer to free cast. Watch out for anti-heal gods and items, especially Odin, since she can't get out of his cage without Phantom. Max your 3, then your 2, and then your 1, and put points into your ultimate whenever you can. Apollo is a very versatile hunter who can work with many items and builds. Crit, Tank Shred, CDR, all can work on him. Apollo's strengths are his passive and his ultimate. His passive allows him to get insane attack speed, even early game, and can strengthen his builds immensely. Don't be afraid to overcap attack speed on this character, since the faster you auto normally, the faster you'll get your passive back up, especially if you combine it with an item like Silver Branch. Apollo's ultimate is great for splitting the map to get towers and farm, and then ulting over to a fight like you were there the whole time. You can also use it early game to finish kills on people who are low health, or to instantly trump a fight since you'll be there much sooner than your opponent. Utilizes 2 against channeled abilities and for tanking physicals since it gives you protections. Don't be afraid to dash through waves and camps to stack your passive as well. Max your 1, then your 2, and then your 3, and put points into your ultimate whenever possible. Watch out for characters that can match your global pressure on the map, like Chernobog, Athena, Janice, Morrigan, etc.